Hey guys, it's me, Dom, again with another issue of Build the Millennium Falcon. This is issue number 6. So again, $10.99 for this issue. That takes us up to $58.45. $58.45, almost €60 I've spent so far on this thing. And so again, like always, we get this close-up photo of the Millennium Falcon on the cover. I'm assuming now, without a shadow of a doubt, that's going to just be 100 issues showing the Millennium Falcon model from different angles. So let's go ahead and jump right into what's in this particular issue. Alright, so we have this great picture of Dash Rendar's YT2400. If you guys ever played that game on the Nintendo 64, Shadows of the Empire, that was a really great game. Dash Rendar was the main character, and Dash flies this 2400, and it's called the Outrider. So we find out that it's actually a little bit faster than the Millennium Falcon. It's got a top speed of 1150 kilometers per hour in atmosphere. That's interesting there. Hyperdrive rating of 0.75. Again, I'm not quite sure what these hyperdrive ratings are, but I assume 0.75 is slightly slower than Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive at 0.5. I don't really understand how that works exactly. I assume has something to do with a multiplier for the length of time it takes you to get from one point to one point. So that's interesting. All these technical readouts about Dash Rendar's Outrider. That would be really cool if at some point somebody actually kit bashed one of these using the model kit. It'd be kind of expensive and probably a pain in the butt, but it would be really cool if somebody bought all the pieces from the Millennium Falcon and actually tried to assemble a 2400. It'd probably take quite a bit of effort, but anyway, some stuff about Dash Rendar. Again, he was a character from the books and also from the video game Shadows of the Empire. You also see in that, I guess, there's an Easter egg in the 1997 version of A New Hope where you can actually see the Outrider leaving Mos Eisley. That's interesting. And some stuff about how after Han Solo was frozen in carbonite, that the crew of the Millennium Falcon actually ran into Dash and helped him, or had him help them formulate a plan on how to get Han rescued from Jabba's palace. Stuff about Dash's last mission. So here's a interesting kind of a technical blueprint readout of how the YT2400 looks. Okay. Obviously the 2400 is a newer vessel than the 1300. Okay. Then we go ahead and we have one of these Guides to the Galaxies again. This one's on the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. Okay. Talking about the battle that took place in the third Star Wars movie. When I say third, I mean Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. When the robot army actually attacks. So that's interesting. Star of Kashyyyk. Rotation period of 26 standard hours, 381 local days. A couple of other planets like Onderon and Hapes. Okay, I'm probably not saying those correctly. And surface water 60%. That's interesting. Some of the trade minerals. Talks about the planet of Kashyyyk and how the Wookiees actually live up in these tree houses. Here's a picture actually from the Star Wars Holiday Special. A lot of people might not have seen that before, but if you haven't, I recommend you check it out. It's worth a good laugh. That's where the planet of Kashyyyk was first introduced to us, actually, was in the Christmas special. And then we actually talk about this thing right here, the hologram table. Okay, so it's one of those things where Chewbacca loves this game, and apparently It's called, I finally found it's called Dejeric. Dejeric. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but it looks like he got outdone by R2-D2. I read the rules, or it's not really a description of the rules, but just kind of how the game is played, where you get these randomly assorted monsters. It's not like chess where you both have the same pieces. You get randomly assigned your monsters, and each monster has different powers. Here's some clay models. It's actually interesting. They talk about how in this part, this little side column here, they explain how they actually got the effect of the holograms on the table. They recorded it and then played it on a TV, a standard definition television, to get that nice blue flickering effect. And then they superimposed it onto the film itself with blue screen. Very, very interesting. I think someone's gone out there and actually made this game, a playable version of this game. And I'd love to find out, what kind of rules they worked up for it and how it plays, because that sounds like a really interesting side thing to do. Here's this board section on tactics. Again, I don't think you can actually really learn how to play the game from this article. And then, of course, we go to the instructions on how to assemble the pieces we got today. So we'll go ahead and try to assemble this together and see where we are. Okay? So let me start doing that and show you what I end up getting. Okay? So the parts again come in this plastic bag. I assume that's how they're going to come from now on instead of the blister pack, which is okay with me. It's easier to open and actually has places to store pieces you don't use. So I got that going for me. So let's tear this thing open and see what we got. So as far as pieces go, we have this collar that actually attaches to these two pieces to help it all sync together with the cockpit. Speaking of the cockpit, we also have some more adhesive stickers that go on this thing and form some sort of decor piece for the cockpit. The cockpit's very high detail because they really want to have that be a selling point. Here is a piece that actually goes to the crew compartment where I guess the couch will go, and the hologram table will go somewhere like that. Okay, so that will come in a different issue. We got a pack of levers. I'll need to get a nice sharp X-Acto knife out of my toolkit and start taking those apart, and those will be glued into the cockpit front instrument panel where the holes were that I lined up a while back. And then I have this piece right here, which is just a sprue of kit bash pieces that will actually go on the exterior of the hull eventually. This will just be saved for now. They kind of gave it to me a little bit prematurely, so cool. First step was taking those two halves and putting them together, and then putting this ring around to secure it all into place, forming this nice cone piece that'll go obviously on the front of my cockpit. Very nice. Alright, cool. I got that going. I couldn't help myself. I had to try this on. I'll pull it back off to make all the changes, but as you can see, it forms up something really cool looking, and this is like my first real idea of the cockpit and what it will look like. That is just awesome, actually. The next step is to align this thing up, and this is actually looking like it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to have to pull off these adhesives and arch them around inside here and actually attach these pieces with the adhesive, not glue them into place. So that's all cockpit decor. So we'll try starting that off and see what we get. So there it is, all assembled. I swear to God, this was the ugliest piece that this model kit has had me put together so far. There was not a lot of clear indication of how this should look and how it should go together. The instructions were a little ambiguous, but I did get it together, and now. And then the sticker itself, the adhesive, is the wrong thickness, as you can see from this white overhang. So I have no idea if I did that correctly or not. It's like I said, I think that looks alright. I mean, if I screwed it up, I think I'll be able to easily hide my mistakes somewhere inside the actual cockpit. But ultimately, here it is, kind of flimsy, but it will add some nice detail to the actual cockpit and make it complete. I've went ahead and added this in. It just goes in and it's all going to clip together. When I put the piece on that you saw earlier, it's all going to clip together and, you know, ultimately looks something like this. Like I said, it's kind of flimsy, but it will add all the necessary detail in there to make the cockpit just look really, really good. So the next step is to glue the levers in, and then I should be done actually with the cockpit. So we'll do that next. Alright, so I finally glued these levers into place. My God, that was a pain in the ass. I need a pair of tweezers so I can actually do a better job in the future if I have to do anything small like that ever again. So this is what the instrument panel is going to look like. I'm a little pissed off because, as you can see, maybe I did not necessarily get them in there 100% straight like I wanted, and looks like there's a little residue from the super glue. It's hardly noticeable, but you know, you tend to notice these things when you're the one who did them. So there's that. My first mess up. I'm sure it won't be the last time in this model kit that I screw up a little bit. So anyway, though, like I said, it's barely noticeable, and I'll probably forget about it eventually, or maybe it'll be one of those things that just nags me until eventually I kill myself. Alright, so I've put this together finally, and you can see, hopefully, you know, you can see the interior detail of it, and the cockpit looks really smooth. I'm really impressed with the overall quality of this kit. I've said that so many times, but ultimately it's really coming together nicely. Now the next step is to finally put the sleeve back on, and I should have one full piece to look at. So no matter how easy putting this thing together looks in the instructions, it is a finicky little bastard. If you have an easy time putting this thing together, let me know in the comments below if you're doing this model as well. But this part, getting all these pieces into these slots right where they need to be, and lining up these pins exactly right, I really didn't think that was going to be that hard, but it finally did it. And let's see if I can get a zoom, if I can zoom in and crisp up. Yeah, so you can see some of the cockpit details, how nice that all looks. That is really beautiful. And it's done. I mean, I really hope I don't have to take this thing apart again, and I guess I'm going to have to at some point to get at the electricals, but when I'm all done, I'm going to glue this together, because that was such a pain in the ass. The floorboard keeps wanting to pop out. The piece that I put together today with the adhesive didn't want to fit in there properly. It was all around just a pain in the backside. So the last two pieces are, like I said, this piece right here, which I am just going to save for a later issue because there's nothing to do with it. It's just here. I guess they needed to fit something else in the bag. And these kit bash pieces, which I'm going to glue on much later. And I'm probably going to decorate these ones and paint them so I can make the overall product look a lot better. So after 6 issues, this is what I have. I have a cockpit, this mounted hull piece, this loose hull piece, these pieces which will go to the passenger compartment, the top of my turret laser in the center of the Millennium Falcon, and this kit bash piece which is going to go on the hull. By the way, you know, I live in Malta, and everyone says Millennium Falcon, and I don't know if it's really Millennium Falcon or Falcon. honestly, I've heard people in the movies pronouncing it both ways. I'm not quite sure what to take from that. So how do you guys pronounce it? Throw that in the comments down below. And so with issue 7, which is the next issue, obviously, I'll be getting, it looks like, the floor to the actual main hold, and some passenger seating, where they'll go on this piece right here, I assume, and right in front of this. So you'll have that going for us, and some more pieces to complete the couch and put this all together. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and throw this video a like and share it with your friends who are also Star Wars fanatics. And